Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a very special podcast.
No, we're not doing this again. We're not doing that. No, this is only the normal kind of special. It's not very special.
No.
Welcome, guys.
It's a very special podcast. My name is Oliver.
My name is Dom.
And welcome to the Gusty Garden Podcast.
Yeah, welcome. Hello.
This is
what makes this so special? Why are we special again after episode 1?
It's just a special podcast, is it not? Are you undermining this podcast, this project that we both have been developing for the last 5 years?
Look. I guess you got a point. I didn't think about it like
Thank
that.
you. Thank you.
Okay,
I was so close.
I take it back. This is a very special podcast.
I was so close to finding a new host. So close.
What?
Anyway, this is episode 2. We just want to thank everyone who watched episode 1. You know who you are.
Yeah.
We got some great feedback. Some feedback that I will probably, most likely, implement in this episode.
There's gonna be less music, guys.
Yes, we did hear about the
We
music.
heard you.
Loud and clear. But this is actually, it's been like what, over a month since we recorded that episode. It's been a long time.
It has.
It's been a very long time.
It has been a bit. It is now 2023.
And it's been, so it was like what, early December when we recorded that first episode, and then we waited till January to upload it. Uploaded it the first week, like January 2nd or something. We had technical difficulties, had to take it down, wait till the next week to upload it on that Monday, and now it's been like almost 2 weeks since we uploaded it, so it's been a minute.
It has been a minute, but I for one am so happy to be back in the recording studio, the Gusty Garden Guys recording studio at, of course, our headquarters. It's great to be back.
It's great.
The holidays are nice. It's good to be back.
I love seeing your sexy, smooth face, Dom, even though I can't see you right now.
Well, we're in the same room, but we're in like separate booths. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. True.
It's a bit of a complicated setup. You guys, you wouldn't understand.
No, only people with 7 subscribers can understand.
Oh yeah. So why don't we get into our topic?
Yeah, what are we doing today, Dom? Do you want to give like the background on how we like came across this like topic or like this idea for this podcast?
Well, absolutely. Very recently, Oliver and I, we were hanging out as people are tending to do.
We don't do that often. But we were like, why not? You know, we are hosts together. So
we were discussing some spooky topics, if you will, some frightening stories. We were talking about SCPs. I don't know if, I mean, obviously you do, but I don't know if y'all watching know what an SCP is.
Probably.
Instead of giving you a long explanation, I'm just gonna say, imagine if you got to read the X-Files. That is what SCP is.
Yeah.
Like, you get access to the files from the X-Files. That is what the SCP Foundation is. And we were just talking about a bunch of weird, funny, creepy stories from that. And that's when it hit us. This would make a great podcast episode if we just scour the internet and find some great creepypastas or other stories and shared them with each other and you all. That's the plan.
Yeah. So we both have a collection of spooky little video game related urban legends / creepypastas. Maybe they're true. Who knows?
I have a vague idea of whether or not they're true.
I mean, you haven't listened to mine, so
Okay, that's true. I've got an idea about mine. I'm here for fun.
No, but yeah. So this is it's a fun little episode. Gonna be taking a detour from our last episode. Also, we do want to reiterate, this is in fact a bi-weekly podcast. I don't know if we ever like mentioned it explicitly last episode, but yes, this is bi-weekly. That's why you didn't get one last week. It is bi-weekly for now.
Yep.
We don't know how long that'll last for.
We're gonna keep it up as long as we can.
For the foreseeable future, we will have it be bi-weekly. And if it goes right, maybe it'll be weekly, or
just
twice a week, or 3 times a week.
Whoa, dude.
Hey.
No. Once a week, max. We got other content to make.
That's true.
Also, school and work.
That's well, it's less important. We live, breathe, and shit Gusty Garden guys.
Don't say that.
Don't take that however you want to, but at least that's how I see it.
Look, enough dilly dally.
Wait, there's still one more thing.
You have a point.
There's still one more thing that we want to one more little quick aside before we get into the main topic.
Okay.
The question for last week's episode was we obviously gotta go over the question and answers. The question was, if you could see any Mario character in the Mario movie, who would it be? And now there's a slight miscalculation. I think what happened was every single person who tried to answer that question kind of forgot to hit the comment button. I think that's what happened. And so we just want to say, just make sure to hit that comment button, because we know we bet your answers were just so great. But
yeah, I mean, we know you watched the video.
Yeah. So obviously,
you heard the question.
You just forgot to hit the comment button, and that's understandable.
Yeah, because everyone obviously had an answer.
Yeah,
surely
it's nothing to feel bad about. We do it all the time. I always forget to hit the comment button.
Everyone makes mistakes.
It's so small. Like it's got to happen to all of us eventually, and it seemed to happen to every single one of you guys at the same time. So just for this episode, you got another chance. We're gonna have a good question for you. Haven't even thought about it, but it's gonna be a good question.
Yeah,
so
it'll be at the end.
And
as
then,
always.
Yep, and then we will get to it next episode.
Next time. Yes.
Anyway.
All right. Enough ado.
No more dilly-dallying.
Which one of us is going first? Which one of us wants to read one first?
I can go first.
Okay.
So we're gonna be talking about urban legends, creepypastas, same thing, in terms of like video games and stuff. And we didn't want to really talk about, we could talk all day about like Bend Round, Sonic.exe, the good ones. Tails doll. Even like the Squall is Dead theory from Final Fantasy VIII. All of these, a lot of people know. So we kind of wanted to find a bit more obscure stories. Ones that may be real. Who knows? So the first one. Now this one I found just a little bit ago. And I gotta say, not a lot of things scare me nowadays. I'm a big horror fan guy. And horror movies don't really do it. Creepypastas definitely don't do it anymore for me. But this one got me a little bit. It kind of made me shiver. Teensy bit in my timbers. This one also, very well could be real. It just has that slight, realism to it that I'm like, a lot of creepypastas don't have this, so I'm thinking maybe it's real. Who knows? So this one, a little bit lesser known. I don't think anyone really knows about this. It's on a website and it has 0 comments on it. But this is from Adam Sherrill, and the title is "My First and Last Haunted Nintendo Switch." This story is not for the faint of heart. If you or someone you love is being haunted by a Nintendo console, please write a short story on the internet and rid yourself of your demons. You have been warned. Did I say internet?
You said internet.
Well, anyway, without further ado. Hi, my name is Adam, and I am a big Nintendo fan. Mario and Zelda are my heroes, and I have always wanted to be just like them in every way. They are both very heroic and always save the princess whenever they are in trouble. Here's some JPEGs of Paper Mario and Twilight Princess Link. I love Nintendo so much. I asked my parents to buy me a Nintendo Switch for my 7th birthday. So when my birthday came by and I didn't get a Nintendo Switch, I cried a lot. I only got a measly $5 bill. I was so sad. I decided to go for a walk. But luckily, while I was out walking, a man on the side of the road waved me over. He looked homeless, but he had a Nintendo Switch. If you want this, you can have it for $50, the man said. Deal, I said. I threw the $50 bill at his face and ran home with my new Nintendo Switch. When I got home, I screamed out of excitement. I wanted to show my parents what I did with their money, but I could not find my parents. They were gone. Oh well, I said. My dumb parents did not even like me enough to buy me a Switch. I turned on the console and did all of the normal setup stuff. But when I went to make one of the Mii characters, originally introduced on the Nintendo Wii system, I could not make my own character. Instead, the Switch made me choose the only Mii on the system. He had pale skin, 2 small, beady eyes, a wide grin, and a red shirt. The red almost reminded me of a little of blood. Also, his name was Mario. I could not believe that they had disgraced my favorite character's name. Oh well, I said, let's just play some games. When I got to the home screen, I found 2 video games. Super Mario Odyssey and The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Mario and Zelda were, of course, my favorites, so I was very happy. I started with Zelda. When I turned on the game, everything was normal. I played for about 70 hours, but then suddenly, Zelda stopped moving. He just froze. Sorry. I played for about 70 hours, but then suddenly, Zelda stopped moving. He just froze on the screen. He turned his head completely around without moving his body and looked right at me. I pressed all the buttons, but Zelda didn't move. Finally, he spoke. Suddenly, his head exploded. A very loud explosion noise filled my room. I could barely hear anything. The screen on the Switch went completely red, like blood. Instead of the usual game over, the game said, Odyssey. I didn't know what that meant. I was getting really scared. After a minute, I calmed down a bit. This Zelda game sucks, I said. I immediately made...
This is stinky.
I immediately made a 20-minute YouTube video about how much I hate Breath of the Wild. I felt pretty happy after that, so I changed to Mario Odyssey. When I turned on the game, Mario was staring at me. But nothing else was there. It was just a Mario. What the heck is happening with this game, I asked. Suddenly, Mario spoke words. This isn't a game anymore, Adam. You're in hell now. Wahoo! This wasn't like Mario's character at all. You were supposed to be my hero, Mario. What happened to you? I asked. Mario said nothing. Instead, his eyes grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they started to fill with blood. The blood was so realistic with the Switch's upgraded graphics. I was not a fan of Nintendo's new Mario design, so I turned the game off. I went to YouTube to make another 40-minute long video, but when I turned on YouTube, a graphic image of Zelda and Mario were on the screen. They both carried knives and blood was dripping down their entire bodies, but they weren't grossed out by it. It almost seemed like they were being bloody or something.
What does that mean? Sorry, keep going.
It was then that I realized the true horror of my situation. I was not safe. All of the signs were there the whole time. The weird games, the weird switch, everything that had happened to that point. Everything that had happened to that point finally made me realize that I wasn't safe in that house. The horror crashed upon me as I uttered what I feared the whole time. My 7th birthday was in 2006. The Nintendo Switch doesn't even exist yet. My whole vision went blurry, and then time came to a halt.
What?
There you go.
That's how it ends?
That's how it ends.
Dude, that was so funny. Oh, sorry. I mean, that was so scary.
Dude, I think we might have to burn this podcast.
Dude, that was pretty good, dude. We should have saved that one for the end. That was really funny.
I got, if we have to end on like a good one, I got a good one that we can end it on.
All right.
Because I feel like we'll have enough time for like the next few.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you want to go next?
Yeah, I'd love to go next.
Now,
I've got
what?
I found a new one to replace the other one that I couldn't.
Okay. Now, first I want to ask, what was your rating on this creepypasta?
Oh, like 1 to 10?
Yeah. In terms of how much it scared you.
It's gonna be a 1.
Oh.
And it was were they being bloody or something? Like,
well,
I
was kind of hoping
I think
I would scare you, but
no,
so what's
maybe next one, maybe the next one. I'd love to go next. I have here a creepypasta that has been posted to the Some Ordinary Gamers wiki.
Okay.
I cannot find any crediting for this creepypasta.
Oh no!
But
wait,
I'm telling you,
this might be the one that I had to. What is it called?
It's called Unknown Format.
Okay, never mind. It's a different one.
Yes, I have not read this at all. I saw it and I clicked it, and we're gonna see if it's good or not.
All right, cool.
That is a common thread with both of the ones I've brought today. Okay, here we go. This one, it starts like I guess it's a letter. The whole thing is like a letter.
Okay.
A very, very long letter.
All right.
Dear Nick, remember last month how you let me rip your game collection before your family moved? First of all, thanks. You've always been a really awesome friend. Now I'm not sure how to start this, but I don't think we're gonna get to talk too much after this. Some important stuff is about to happen, and I don't know if I'll get another chance to talk before that. I just wanted to let you know what's happening for me, before you started hearing it from everybody else. You know how Steve and Chris like to twist things around. I guess the best way to start this is right from the beginning. After you left your games with me, I started trying to rip them right away. Demon Tools and Alcohol had trouble with the copy protection on a few, though. I tried looking on forums for workarounds for an hour or two, but no dice. Couldn't get them to work. Finally got fed up, and went to look and see if there were any programs that worked better. Most of what I turned up was stuff you and me tried and didn't work, or that you had to shell out $300 and let them put a keylogger on your machine to ensure you didn't misuse it. You search the same sites as me, you know the ones. Anyway, I finally turned up something on this obscure torrent site. I've gotten a couple things from them before, but it's pretty much ye old site of desperation. Remember that site? Yeah. The guy who posted it looked like he'd put the description through Google Translate. What it was some Japanese program. Shikami no Tengen. The guy said the name meant 4 gods in heaven. Probably not, though. I think his Japanese was probably as good as his English. What he claimed, though, was that it could get around any copy protection and rip the discs as smaller files than any other program. If you know, you're rolling your eyes so hard right now. Thing is, I looked at the reviews, and it seemed totally legit. A bunch of people gave it high marks, and were praising the guy for uploading the program. It had a good amount of seeds, even. I mean, sure, there were people complaining that it fracked their computer, or that every file they made came out messed up. But you see that on any torrent, right? They all got the usual, read the damn instructions, noob, replies, so I figured it was good to go, and started downloading. In no time at all, I was ready to install it. The directions with the file were pretty straightforward. Switch the computer to Japanese Unicode, run the installer, switch back to English, and apply a crack to make it work. It didn't take long. The installer was supposed to show pictures and play music while it ran, I think, but the images were broken and just did a slideshow of solid color screens. The music just came out of static, and I turned off my speakers till it was done. I was a little worried it wasn't going to work, but it had all those positive ratings, so I gave it a chance. Sure enough, once I went through all the steps, it ran fine. Simple interface, pretty easy to use. The only thing was a warning that came to the README file. Files will be in unknown format. Rename .iso and mount external. Do not try to run. It's literally a copy-paste of the warning. Made sense to me, though. The program was Japanese, patched to work in English. I figured that probably messed up the file extensions. I tried it with Civ 4, and that obscure-as-hell shooter you're so proud of, though, and it worked fine. Heck, it was really as good as they said. Really did even make the file smaller. That's a weird way to word that sentence. The only thing was the file extension. It came out as Name 4 for both games. When I switched them to ISO files and mounted them through daemon tools, though, it worked. Absolutely flawless. No errors or copy fail that I could see.
Hell yeah.
So I did the rest of them. It took a while, and I got tired. But I had them back to you the next day. I've had a lot of good times with those games. Played the hell out of Hellgate. Reaffirmed that I'll never be a pro at StarCraft 2. Completely forgot that Skyrim had a main quest. All the kinds of stuff we used to do on gaming nights when you were here. I totally platonically miss you, bro. That's actually the next line. It's in parentheses. It actually says that.
Oh, I love
so
that.
Eventually, I worked my way through the files and found a couple I'd forgotten to rename. I must have been tired. Just for the hell of it, I decided to see what would happen if I tried to run Portal 2 as a .4 and see what would happen. I figured I'd just get the usual Windows error for when you use an unrecognized extension, but no. It came up with an error message in Japanese that I couldn't read. Well, that got me to thinking. If that popped up, it must be able to read the file. Maybe I could switch the computer into Japanese again and it would work? I decided to try, and surprisingly it worked. Not only did it work, but the file ran just like it had been mounted to the virtual drive. It wasn't like normal, though. On the loading screen, it showed the inside of dingy, run-down A test chamber with Chell sprawled out on the ground. She had the portal gun in one hand, but her head and limbs were at odd angles, and the things on her legs, her longfall boots, they looked cracked, with the strut things on the back bent out of shape. It looked like it was showing what would happen if the boots ever broke, and she just hit the ground too hard. It freaked me out, but it wasn't on-screen long. At the title screen, GLaDOS' eye seemed redder, and there were flickers of flames just outside of sight in the background. Instead of leaves, these little embers would drift by from time to time. To be honest, I wasn't sure what to think, but I remembered that time way back when we played Fire Red on an emulator, and the ferry boat guy said, if you like this game, buy it or die. I figured it was probably something like that, just a trick to scare people into not playing a pirated copy. None of the other games I'd run through the Shikami program had a problem, but maybe it only properly bypassed the protection when you ran it as an ISO, right? It wasn't stopping the game from being played, and once I got over the initial shock, it actually seemed kind of cool, so I kept playing. Everything was darker, and there was a kind of fog along the ground, even in the part of the game where everything was clean and new. The picture you were supposed to stare at was just a red space, and the music was nothing but static. But oh well. The data wasn't supposed to be read this way, so it was understandable that there would be errors. When it got to Wheatley, though, he was a lot meaner than usual. He asked me to say apple, then just started laughing and said, "You can't! You're brain damaged!" and laughed some more. That harsh, cruel laugh he uses later in the game. He told me right out that everyone else was dead and I had to help him or I'll die too. I can't be sure, but the way he talked made it sound like he knew that Chell had killed GLaDOS too, and he wanted to bring her back. When I got to the second of the old test chambers, there were mangled bodies on the floor. Not gory, mind you, just broken bodies looking as old as the rest of it. It's not like I don't play some gory games sometimes, but the shift in tone was really unnerving the hell out of me. So I stopped playing Portal. If it was a way to deter pirates, it had worked on me. I wasn't even sure I'd be willing to try it as an ISO later to see if it worked that way. Still, I had a few other .4 files. Actually, they changed to whatever the Japanese version of 4 was, but that's not the point. I had other games I could try, and I didn't feel like switching my computer back just yet. I figured I'd play something more relaxing to take my mind off it. Need for Speed seemed like a good pick. The opening sequence showed a 15-car pileup during a thunderstorm, while news reporters talked about the death toll in the background. Nope.avi. So I tried Serious Sam HD. No idea how I forgot to set that one up. The gameplay. Some things are better left unsaid. But I know that game never had human sacrifice in it before. At that point, I was pretty damn freaked out, and I was starting to have a suspicion about what was going on. I put the computer back into English and tried a couple games for a few minutes each. Nothing was wrong with any of them. Even Portal 2, when I switched it to an ISO extension, was perfectly normal. On a whim, I changed a couple games back to .4s and switched it over again. I only got around to trying Civilization. My save file worked with it, but just what the hell? There was new research I've never seen before. Things like, there's no way we're coded into the game. Some of them seemed harmless, like Manifest Destiny, while others were along the lines of tyranny and xenophobia. They got you upgrades like slave markets and concentration camps.
Oh my god.
There was a new religion, too. Ever heard of Yazidi before?
Oh.
I hadn't. There were also events like plagues, accidents, and natural disasters, where it would show a clip of your city's population suffering. Just like with the other games, playing it as a .4 made the game darker in tone. I don't know how the hell that's possible, but it did. I thought that maybe it was some kind of novelty software, and when you ran the game through it, it streamed a mod for whatever you were playing. Yeah, stupid idea, I know. But some people will go through a lot of trouble to prank, right? Like, remember that time when we wanted to get back at your sister for giving away those concert tickets she won? Even though she knew you and I loved Radiohead, and we got all our friends and I some buddies in on it? Yeah, I tried disconnecting my router and restarting the game. On my first turn, it announced that England was working on a wonder. The final solution. Oh my god. There was one more thing I had to try at that point. On a whim, I'd ripped my DVD of Inkheart one day, putting it into the right format. It had run just as flawlessly as anything else. Now I tried it as a .4 file. The film played out how it should. All the actors said their lines and did what they normally would. At least until the market scene. It looked the same, but what was going on in the background shouldn't have been there. I watched, transfixed, as a beggar was never there before that kicked savagely from a well-dressed man and collapsed in a heap. A woman in a red coat twisted her son's arm until it looked like she'd pop it out of its socket, dragging him off screen as he resisted. A thug ran up and stabbed an elderly woman in the stomach, taking her purse and running as the rest of the crowd just stepped around her bleeding body. I shut off the player, feeling sick to my stomach. So at that point, I knew that I didn't want this shit on my computer. Not ever! I deleted the files I'd ripped off on the spot, and I told the computer to uninstall Shikami no Tengen. To uninstall it brought up the same business it did when I'd installed it. The graphics and audio weren't broken this time. The speakers played sounds of people speaking in Japanese. I couldn't tell what they were saying, but they sounded terrified. They screamed a lot. I could have turned it off, but I didn't. I have no idea why. They screamed, and the monitor showed me photo after photo of crime scenes, accidents, disasters, anything where people had died horribly. There were shots of what looked like a single frame of people being vaporized by an atomic bomb just before the camera was destroyed. With the flash of the bomb somehow filtered out, there was a cave where a man sat frozen to death, surrounded by the remains of companions he'd killed and eaten trying to stay alive. In another shot, a woman who looked like she'd been drained of blood had the skin on her forehead peeled back, and some symbol I didn't recognize. Probably something Japanese carved into her skull. They were all horrible, the worst things I'd ever seen. And I just sat there, numb, and watched while the screams of the dying echoed in my ears. As I was watching, though, I realized something. People always look away. They don't want to face the horror and tragedy in this world. They don't want to see. Period. Horrible things happen all the time, everywhere, and we just pretend like it doesn't matter, like it doesn't affect us. It's not right. You see, that's why I'll be going away for a long time. Somebody has to do something about what's wrong in this world. Someone has to make them see. So I'll be the one to open people's eyes to the horror. I'll make this right. Always your friend, Redacted. Oh, there's a little bit more.
Okay.
That's the last thing my friend ever sent to me. 3 weeks later, the police found him living in the bomb shelter of an abandoned house in our neighborhood. He was wanted for a string of violent crimes in the area, including what they called ritualistic murder, arson, and tampering with traffic direction in an attempt to cause a major accident. They said they'd found various poisons and bomb-making supplies in his hideout. It was a huge shock to any of us who knew him. His family was pretty poor, but he'd been our class president, on the debate club, and even a track star. He got along with everybody. Thinking he could have snapped like he did is just unbelievable. I guess that's why I followed up on this crazy story. I wanted to believe that there was something like that had caused him to turn into what he did. Searching the internet didn't turn up much, though. There was no trace of a program called Shikami no Tengen anywhere, though I did learn that a Shikami was a type of Japanese demon. I'd been prepared to leave it there, but I was a little confused on how the person supposedly translated it came up with 4 gods in heaven. So I did a little more digging and found out Kami is Japanese for God, and Shi is 4. 4 also has a special connotation in Japan, though it's considered an unlucky number, because it's pronounced the same way as their word for death. And that is the end of, what is it called? Unknown Format.
And that's why you don't emulate video games, kids.
Exactly! You'll get possessed by a Japanese demon and kill people.
Yeah. That was an interesting one. That was a very interesting one. A little long.
Yeah, it's not what I was expecting. It was pretty long.
But you know what? That's all right. We got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
that was interesting. I would rate that one like a 1 out of 10, a 2 out of 10 maybe. It wasn't very good.
Now, how real do we think this is? Probably on like a 6 for me, maybe a 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a 7.
Ooh, I don't know.
There's just something about the way it was described that just made it feel so real.
I think we should.
I was so immersed. You want to move on?
Oh yes. I got a good one.
Your second one? Okay.
So, this one is also on the Some Ordinary Gamers wiki.
All right.
This one also has no author, but it does have a title. This is a shorter story, but it's very impactful. Okay. I would go to the bathroom, everyone, before I read this, and get your timbers on, and get ready to shiver. This is Phantom GameCube. So, a few years after my brother, Kevin, passed away in a motorcycle accident, I was cleaning out the basement and found a box of his old game systems, as well as some games, and the memory cards that were for them. I took a look through some of them. I found a Nintendo GameCube, a Nintendo 64, and a Game Boy Advance. SP Blue Edition.
No, you added that part.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did. As for games I found, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Minish Cap for the GBA. There was also Metroid Prime 1 and 2. I haven't played Zelda in a while, so I grabbed my Wind Waker disc and the GameCube. I went up to my room and hooked it up. I put it in I put in the Wind Waker disc and turned the GameCube on. The game started up, and I made a new file named Link. In the game, I played through the point where you have to save Errol from the fortress. I saw that all the enemies there had blood-red eyes with black dots for pupils, I guess. And the time since I never since I never played Wind Waker, I figured, with this just being an evil base and all, they were supposed to look like that. Still, I slightly thought that this was a bit odd for a Nintendo game. So eventually, I made it to where Errol was being held. To my surprise, Errol was brutally beaten. She had a massive gash across her eye, and it was bleeding heavily but slowly. Again, as I have never played the game, I assumed it's supposed to be like that. However, I did check the rating of the game, because something that gory, even if it's animated, shouldn't be in a game rated E. I started to question the authenticity of the game. My brother was a huge Zelda fan, and I highly doubt he would hack, crack, or mess with the game, much less a Zelda game. However, I was 15 at the time, so things like minor cartoon gore, like Conker's Bad Fur Day. This didn't bother me much, however. I pressed on and continued playing. After Link caught up with a beaten down Errol, a giant skeleton bird flew down and grabbed Link. Its bones were black and it was wearing a mask over its skull. The eyes were glowing red. The bird grabbed Link by the legs with its jaw and crushed Link's legs and flew up to a man in a bluish-black robe. The man jerked his neck and the bird flew Link off into the distance. The screen faded to black. All I heard was static. Then nothing. Odd. A text box appeared and said, "Wake up, Link." The screen faded in, and I saw Link lying in a boat, eyes wide open. He just laid there and started to cry. Again, as I never played the game, I thought that this was because he just failed to rescue his sister. As he cried, his eyes started to turn black, and his pupils started to turn red. His tears became blood, and the static started to build up. There was a loud shriek, and on the screen of my TV was Link, his face covered in blood, eye wide open, just staring. His head took up the entire screen. I freaked out and tried to shut off the GameCube. But as I got up, Link let out another loud shriek, and I froze in place, just staring back at the screen. Still freaked out, I grabbed my phone and took a picture of it. That was a mistake. As my phone clicked, I looked at the TV again to see that this time Link was baring his teeth, and there was blood dripping out of his mouth. He was drooling blood. I immediately unplugged the GameCube, and the shrieking and image disappeared. I took a few deep breaths and calmed the hell down, trying to make sense of what was going on. After a few minutes of deep breathing, my heart rate slowed down and I picked up the phone, went to Photos, took a deep breath and looked at the picture I took for some clues for what the hell just happened. I almost had a heart attack. The picture on my phone showed nothing. Just a blue screen on the channel for the GameCube to be played on. Was I going crazy? As I examined the photo, I noticed something odd. The GameCube was open and the Wind Waker disc was standing on its edge inside the cover. However, when I looked the GameCube, it was closed and the disc was inside. Time to figure this out, I said, ready to face the demon Link as I deemed him to be. I fired up the GameCube and played Zelda Wind Waker once more. I continued from where the shrieking first started, at the boat which I later found out was docked at Windfall Island. From there, I played on the hunt for anything strange in the town or so. Nothing. Nothing at all happened after that. I was so confused. I figured maybe my mind was playing tricks on me, but to be sure of my sanity, I checked my phone again. The picture was still the same. Blue screen in an open GameCube. I said, "Fuck this game." I popped the disc out and went outside for a bit. Mind you, it was about noon when this all happened. I returned home at about 6 p.m. for dinner. My eldest brother Rick was visiting to install a tax program on the computer downstairs. I went back into my room and tossed Metroid Prime 1 into the GameCube. Metroid Prime is one of my favorite games ever, and I have played and beat it multiple times. Now, Metroid was not on the memory card, so I created a new save file slot for the game and started fresh. Samus appeared on the Space Pirate Frigate, which is basically the tutorial level of the game. I went through all the tutorial stuff until I made it to the first boss. After beating the first boss, it's supposed to fall into an energy conductor below. However, instead it gets blown apart? Having beat this game many times before, I know that that's not supposed to happen. After that encounter with Link, I prepared myself for something freaky. As Samus made her escape, when she got caught in the explosion to lose all her powers, power-ups from the suit was blown apart and there was a shrapnel impaling her body. I know for sure that part of the game never existed. I reach over to my phone to try to take another picture, except this time I'll take a video, so that if nothing shows up on the TV, my phone will still record the audio. I was about to pick it up when I got this sudden chill and froze. I couldn't move. I slowly turned around to see half-dead Samus and a demonic Link just standing there staring with nothing but hate and anger in their eyes. Completely terrified, I screamed out. My eldest brother rushed into my room and saw the two figures standing at me there. Disturbed, he asked me, "What's going on?" He replied, "I was playing Wind Waker and Metroid on Kevin's GameCube." Rick looked at me confused and horrified. Kev never had a GameCube. As he said that, there was a loud bang and everything went dark for a few seconds. When the lights came back on, my TV was turned off and the GameCube was gone. All that's left is a memory card, The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and Metroid Prime. If you guys need to go to the bathroom, it's okay. And pause the video. That definitely got me when I first read it. Like that's probably one of the freakiest, spookiest, shiveriest creepypastas I've ever read. Thank you, Dom.
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So what did you think about Phantom GameCube, Dom?
That it was really good.
You sound so sarcastic.
No, that can't be right.
Okay.
It was
making sure.
I would give it a 2 out of 10. Is that right? Yeah, 2 out of 10. I'd give it a 2 out of 10.
You mean 12, right? Anyway.
Sure, man.
So we're about almost 50 minutes in. Do you want to do one more?
The one I have is very, very long, I've realized. So no.
Okay. Okay.
And I won't lie to you. My backup one was Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition.
Oh my god.
But I'm not reading that one either.
We're not gonna read that one. If you guys want to know what that is, just look up Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition. It's great.
You'll be happy you did. It's
great. It's not as scary as some of the ones that we read here, but it's pretty close.
I think it's scarier. I think it's 8 out of 10 scary.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
What?
No, I'm kidding. So should we just now? I have one more. I think we have. Do we have time to read one more?
We do, but I also feel like this has been not a very discussion-heavy episode, and I don't know how interesting just an hour of like readings is. So maybe why don't we talk a little bit? Why don't we talk a little bit about these creepypastas and what just creepypastas in general for a second?
So,
because
I think now you know about my background with creepypastas, right?
Oh Lord, right? Yes.
I'm not. So I'm not gonna say like the name of the channel, but I will preface by I have a very extensive background in creepypastas. In fact, in 2015, I created a creepypasta YouTube channel in which I written's a strong word. I narrated creepypastas that I came up with on the spot. So I was a big creepypasta kid. I think the channel,
and they sound about as good as the ones we read. They're like,
yeah,
which I'm saying for ad-libbing is like pretty good.
which is great because most of the ones that like I made myself, I pretty much just started hitting record, then just went along as I went and just didn't edit the audio at all.
You put in music.
I did put in like random spooky music. But so I would. What are your thoughts on like creepypastas in general?
Well, like I said at the beginning, I was never a creepypasta kid, really, or may not have said that at the beginning. But whatever, I wasn't.
But you did like SCPs, right?
That was more recent. That was probably like 5 or 6 years ago. I got into those.
Okay.
But like creepypastas themselves, I was obviously always aware of them and the very popular ones, but
yeah.
I never really got it. I never really understood. I was like, these are really bad. These aren't scary. They're not even like funny. Like, why would I read these?
Yeah.
But now I'm starting to gain an appreciation for this dark corner of the internet.
Especially the one that I read, right? And the one that you read, right? Right?
What do you mean?
Right?
What do you mean? I don't understand the question.
You've grown in appreciation from these stories that we read in this episode.
Yeah, these were
because they were just that good.
They were really, really great.
Now for like a bit more like of my history with creepypastas, I like very much grew up listening to them. I got into this really big phase when I was probably 14, in which I would literally like fall asleep to creepypastas, right? Like I would like be laying in my bed, have my headphones in, and I would put on creepypastas, and I remember being legitimately terrified. Like
yeah.
I think the first one that like really got me, I think it was a FNAF one. I think I remember like the exact one that it was, because it was from a channel that I like watched a lot. Because I was big into like the like true scary stories things on YouTube, in which people would just read like submitted like true scary stories. And that shit terrified the hell out of me. And I remember listening to Abandoned by Disney, and then Disney's Catacombs, and like literally like having to contain myself from turning them off because I was so scared. But so like, and then there's like the classic ones like Red Mist, Squidward's Suicide. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Which they eventually made canon, kind of.
We don't. That was an odd one. If you got your Momos, you got your Jeff the Killers, you got all those weird ones.
Ben Drowned, the Rake,
right?
The classic one.
Yeah, there's tons of these things, and I don't know that I've ever read a good one.
Until now.
They're all good. Sorry.
Until now.
Sorry.
Right?
Sorry. They're all really good. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. This is open your eyes to like creepypasta culture.
Yeah, I cannot wait to close them again. This was I've learned. I learned things. I hope you all at home learned some things. These I hope you all at home will go on to write your own creepy pastas.
Write your own solely for the show. Write a creepypasta. That's our question to you. Okay, no, this isn't our question, but this is a challenge to you. If write the best creepypasta, also known as a Gusty pasta, for us. Okay.
Write your best
Bye,
one
everyone.
for us. No, what are you talking about?
No, I'm kidding.
We haven't even asked our question.
No, I'm kidding. So that is our challenge to you. If you can try to scare us with the creepypasta, please do it. And
it needs to be scary though.
The first one that gets written for this channel, we will read it on the channel on some episode of the podcast. Yes, we will dedicate
an entire episode.
Just knowing that the first fan of this channel, because we got a lot of them, we got 7 of them, to write a creepypasta, a full length, a beginning, middle, and end, the first Gusty pasta, we promise we will read it on the show.
I was just gonna say, I don't know how much focus is gonna be on creepypastas in the future.
It's not like
on
not
the
at
show,
all.
aside from
not
that.
at all, guys.
Yeah,
guys, if you think this is like a creepypasta channel, we promise you it's not. Like, if that's why you're here and you just want more creepypastas, go find my channel. I'm not going to
tell you what it is.
I'm not going to tell you the name of it, but like, if like someone can find my creepypasta, then if someone finds it, then yes, I will like admit to what it is. But someone's got to find it first. I guess I'll tell you, like, the only hint is it's from like August or like September of like 2015. And there's only like 7 videos on it, and one of them is a FNAF one that has, I think, 13,000 views on it.
Yeah, that's like the worst part. It's not even that unsuccessful of a channel.
Yeah, which like I've been told to the people that I've shown it to, who like they're like, if you just stuck with it, that's what you've been, bro. Like that'd be your career. And I'm like, maybe, but like, are creepypasta channels even successful anymore? Like, especially ones that are like that old? I don't think so. Probably not, right?
I don't think so. It's more like top 10s and stuff.
Yeah,
or like
that or like
niche now.
Yeah, so like I don't know. Like I probably like I probably would have like gone kind of far, but like I definitely would have like fallen off at some point. So I don't feel bad about it. And that's only one of like my 5 YouTube channels that are still out right now. But that's besides the point. This is my best one by far.
What, Gusty Garden?
Oh yeah. Which
this channel with 1 video.
Which on the topic, I think we hopefully by the release of the next podcast episode, we want to try to get the first episode of our next show out, which is Gusty Garden Games.
Yes, right, of course.
Which is literally just like we play games.
It's Let's Plays. You've seen us do Let's Plays before if you're watching this probably. So yeah, it's that. We're gonna have a Let's Play doc on here. We're probably only gonna run one at a time, right?
Probably,
like,
yeah. At least for now.
Because on my channel, I'm running like a few simultaneously, but like I think because we don't want to focus too heavily on any one thing on this channel.
Yeah,
so we should probably only have one Let's Play going.
So
and we're doing Sunshine, correct?
We are. The first game will be Mario Sunshine. So look out for that. If any Mario Sunshine heads in here, subscribe because you will be getting a lot of Sunshine content in the future.
You definitely will.
Don will be playing it for the first time. It'll be great.
Well, finishing it for the first time. I've played Sunshine.
Don will be like not completing it, but like doing most of Sunshine.
I'm gonna beat Bowser.
He's gonna be Bowser, yeah, and beat like what every episode in each world, right? Like at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, look out for that. Hopefully that'll be out before next episode of the podcast. So by next Monday.
Yep.
But I think we're at about an hour. I think.
Yeah, let's ask our question and wrap it up.
Let's ask our. Do you have any ideas for the question?
Let's see.
It's got to be related to creepypasta.
Of course.
It's got to be creepypasta related. Oh.
What? I mean, it could be something simple like, "What is your favorite creepypasta and why?" But like,
we could do something more fun. Give us it's kind of a variant of the challenge, the creepypasta writing challenge. Try to give us a 2 to 3 sentence horror story.
Ooh, that's perfect. Yeah. Do a 3-sentence horror story in the comments. That is our question.
It's got to be no longer than like no longer than 3 sentences, and it has to be short and concise. I'm very excited to see what you guys come up. Remember to hit the fucking comment button this time. Don't forget about that.
Yeah, actually comment, guys. Don't forget.
Don't forget.
Like I love those. I'm sure you've seen those 2-sentence horror stories.
Yes.
Where it's like,
yep.
One of my favorite one is like, Barry loved to play in the snow, but so did the bloodworm. Or like it's like something like that. Oh, the meatworm. Sorry.
It's like really dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just try
stuff like that.
Do your best. Make a 2-second horror movie or horror movie. Make a 2-second horror story. 2-sentence. Sorry. And hopefully we will shiver even more. But that'll after that'll be the end of our creepypasta of the Gusty pasta. If you want to write a Gusty pasta, feel free. We will read it on the channel. We promise.
Only the first one. Only the first submitted one.
Only the first one. Unless someone else like really wants to like after that someone really wants to write one and like pays us money to read it. Maybe like $500 approximately.
Now, is there perhaps, well, I don't know what you're talking about, but is there perhaps an email that they could send such a Gusty pasta to?
Oh yeah, we do have an email. It's in our description on our YouTube channel. You can contact that.
Yes, why don't we
it's gustygardenguys@gmail.com. I don't know why I said net. Also little
that's how you can reach us.
Smaller announcement, but we do have a proper icon for our YouTube channel.
Yes, that'll be by the time this is out, that'll be in there.
Oh yeah. So thank you for your feedback for last episode. And if you have any more feedback, just let us know either personally or through the YouTube comments. Answer a question, give us a good 2-second horror story, and
2 second.
2 sentence. I mean, it's gotta.
This is gonna go down in history as our best episode, I think.
I mean, it's gotta be 2 seconds to read.
Yeah,
I guess
that's true. That's true.
So, guys, thank you for listening. If you did,
and we will see you guys in episode 3. Do we have any idea of what our topic for episode 3 is going to be? What's our stinger? What's going to keep people coming back if indeed they did watch this? What's next time?
I don't know. Why we're gonna talk about why Marina is the hottest Splatoon character. Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye.
That's the end.